He's the one who made it weird, right? He made it weird for himself, his family, and everyone else on the leaderboard. Like, wait, that's a score we got to beat. That's a scary score. The next clubhouse leader was Aaron Rye at 9 under.
Who won the PGA Championship? You probably know the answer by now. But it wasn't just one guy. You're all hopefully winners. I feel like a winner because we're getting the band back together tonight. Myself, Sean Zak, who originally recorded the Drop Zone for several years, are sitting here in the media center at Aronimink Golf Club, ready to wrap up the action. Without further ado, the man, Sean Zak. The band is back together. The original Drop Zone crew, myself, Dylan Dethier, and the man of the hour, Mr. Sean Zak. Sean, where are we?
We're in the media center at Aronimink Golf Club after what was just a perfectly engaging golf tournament. I felt like every day was different than the last, and I don't know, I was focused on it the entire time. Never felt like I was out of its grasp.
I want us to do something pretty simple. I want us to run through 6 winners. You can accuse us of giving out some participation trophies. That's fine. But Sean, I'll start. And at the end, if we want to give out a loser or two, then so be it. We'll start with the positive, and I'll nominate the first champion, which is the actual champion, Mr. Aaron Rye, who put together a pretty sensational final 10 holes. He made his third bogey of the day at number 8, and then the rest of it was just box office nails. Eagled 9, hit a few sensational shots on the back 9, made a putt at 17 that'll live in PGA Championship history. What do you have to say about Aaron Rye?
I think his win, as time passes, will feel so analogous to J.J. Spahn's win at Oakmont. You have the lengthy putt on the final few holes that goes in for birdie, and no one was planning on that. That was kind of like kicking the door down. I won this thing. I think, yeah, let's forecast how many majors is Aaron Rye going to win? Probably the one.
Straight to it. Wow, that's brutal.
And you know what? I don't think that's unfair. I think the odds makers would tell you the same thing. But during this specific moment in time, on a very tough golf course, he did what J.J. Spahn did, which was like deal with the front 9 bogeys and then take off and play perfect golf on the back 9. This will be the biggest moment of his career to this point, just like the U.S. Open was for J.J. And I think that they will kind of be 2 tracks to the same cassette at some point, 2 sides to the same cassette.
Throwback
when we look
reference
at it at
there.
time. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the story with Aaron Rye, and in a minute here, I'll finish the piece I'm writing about him. But like, this is a different type of major winner. We've gotten so used to Scotty and Rory, and before that, Xander, Bryson, John Rahm, a certain subset of big time players winning these things. Aaron Rye has not quite been of that caliber or that quality, but today, I mean, he beat all those guys. They were all right there, and they got left in the dust.
That is one thing we will remember. He beat the horses. There were a lot of very good golfers that he beat today, and it felt like he outlasted them, and they all had a chance. They were right on his tail, and had holes that could have been birdied. Rory McIlroy makes a mess of the very birdieable 13th. Xander Schauffele makes a mess of that same hole. That's where Rye took off.
Give me a non-Aaron Rye champion of the 2026 PGA.
I've spent the entire day focusing on Justin Thomas, which felt like a story that kind of landed in my lap. He goes out very early, shoots the round of the day, 65, is the clubhouse leader for about 3 whole hours. Now, golf tournaments take a long time to finish. They are very plodding, but they don't ever have a 3-hour clubhouse leader that doesn't end up winning the tournament. So that happened today. I caught JT as he was leaving, and he was proud of himself. He literally left the property to go home at the rental home and watch with his family, came back and kind of picked up his stuff and was like, yeah, I probably could have been on a flight a couple hours ago if I didn't play so good, but he's feeling great about his game. This is, I think, his way of telling himself, I'm actually back from back surgery last year. Like, I feel fully healthy and I'm going to do this again soon.
the kind of hilarious, well, I guess not hilarious, but it's kind of funny that seems to just be playing well. Seems to find the magic at PGA Championships specifically. But the very serious subtext to JT's thing is like, since his 2022 PGA win, he has just no-showed major championships. Like he had 1 year in particular where it felt like he was like basically finishing like last place, just fully imploding. I know he's been hyper-focused on it. And so
the jury's still out on if he can do it at a different major championship.
He's had one top 30 before this week at any major since that 2022 PGA. So now, I mean, for most of the day, it looked like he was going to finish like first or second. I don't know about first, but like he was right there, and he finally ended up in T4. But this is going to feel like a big time moral victory for JT.
Yeah, he's the one who made it weird, right? He made it weird for himself, his family, and everyone else on the leaderboard. Like, wait, that's a score we got to beat. That's a scary score. The next clubhouse leader was Aaron Rai at 9 under.
Sean, my next champion. Well, actually, one more thing on JT. Like, do you think he had the sense that he was a potential winner? Like, do you think it would ever felt a possibility to him?
I think it was a matter, like his caddy was sitting by himself in caddy dining, watching it, texting JT throughout. Like, it was right until like the 14th hole. JT left the golf course, and then by the time he was still wearing his same clothes, got in the car, drove back, and then got to the locker room, Rai had gone birdie to end it. So like he thought he was getting ready to go back to that driving range and maybe make a run at this.
My next winner, who's not a winner, Sean, is Jon Rahm, because Jon Rahm needed major championship contention, I guess. For a guy with his resume, finishing T2 at a major has to be satisfying, but also frustrating and unsatisfying. But he's just been getting a certain amount of shit since going to live and then kind of underperforming based on his skill level at the biggest events of the year. You know, he's been finishing second so much at live that finishing second here may be frustrating in a different way. But I don't know, at the very least, him beating everybody in the world
beating
except for
Scotty
Aaron
Scheffler,
Rai,
beating Rory
Scotty
McIlroy.
Scheffler. He had not beat. I can't remember what the record was exactly, but Scotty Scheffler had beaten him at a lot of major championships in a row. So to do this, to shoot 67, 68 on the weekend, which is just about as good as anyone, it felt like a statement and some sort of win.
It's very convenient for me to say this now, but I never really bought into the why is Jon Rahm struggling at majors bit, mostly because we can ask those questions of people who have not won majors before. He had won 2 majors before. You can have a bit of a major dip for 2 years, in which he actually played pretty well at the PGA last year, but it was all just a little bit of a blip for him, I like to think, and I think he probably comes back strong at Shinnecock.
Your next champion.
My next champion is Aronimink Golf Club. It's been the talk of the town. It's been the talk of the tournament the entire week. Every single day was an examination of what is Aronimink, what test does it provide, how was it set up, was it unfair? And you know what? No one actually said it was unfair. It was stern, it was difficult, it was maybe not proper in the sense of what the PGA has been, but why can't a PGA be a little bit like a US Open? I think we solved that riddle this week. I think Kerry Haig did a fantastic job, and on Sunday, you'd be surprised how many players and how many caddies walked off saying, I thought it was awesome. I thought it was perfect. I thought it was fantastic. And the reason why that makes Aronimink a winner is because the last time they hosted the PGA Championship here was over 60 years ago. And a lot of these courses, they are in the business of trying to woo another major. And I think that that's what they accomplished this week is like the PGA will probably come back here sometime in the next 15 years, maybe 20 years. That's a success for this golf club.
One lesson we may have learned this week or relearned is there may actually be too many course takes on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Like
sure.
We seem to be getting ahead of ourselves after the first quarter of the competition. I also thought the Philadelphia fans showed up in a big way. Like it's in some ways there's become like scorekeeping of, how good are the crowds at Live Golf or the PGA Tour events, and you almost took for granted this week that it was tough to get a ticket. There were basically sellouts. There were people everywhere. The spectators around the 18th green, and then also the 17, 9, 16 amphitheater down there. It felt like a major atmosphere.
Well, think about what the discourse has been for fans at the top of the men's game for the last 10 months or so. It's been what the New York fans were like at Bethpage, which was not okay. It's been what some of the fans were like to Matt Fitzpatrick, a non-American down at Hilton Head a couple weeks ago. We have a non-American winning here, and the fans treated him incredibly, right? And all the while there were Americans up on the leaderboard. It could have become this cheer against the non-American sort of deal, and it didn't.
I will say I was out
lovely
there with Rory, and it kind of did. It
maybe
did
just
a
for
little
him.
bit. There were a handful of people, but yeah, Rory is, for better or worse for him,
He's a lightning rod, not because of where he's from.
But yeah, in no way was this Bethpage or anything like that.
That's a win for people who often don't love the New York fan, Philadelphia fans.
Philly and Aronimink. All right, my third and final winner, my boy Padraig Harrington. I wrote about him last night because I talked to him after his Friday and Saturday rounds and was just so taken with his attitude that, someone is going to come win this thing. Why not me? He knew he was going to be a half dozen shots off the lead, but it was so crowded that even though he was T31, he had that mindset of look, I won't really even remember a top 5. At this point, I've got 3 majors. I'm lucky enough that I can just chase another one. He's 54 years old. He's still such a dreamer. He just has this twinkle in his eye. He's a little nuts. But then, he didn't win. Spoiler alert, he did not win. But he shot 1 under par today. He chipped in on the 18th hole, went crazy for the crowd, just seemed to be having the best time in the world. And he had his best major finish in 5 years at T18.
And you know what? He talked to the media afterward.
Did he? I didn't even see it yet.
He is excited to be at Shinnecock in a couple weeks. Padraig said, if the golf course is tough, I can hang with these guys.
Wait, because he won the U.S. Senior Open?
Yeah.
Is that how he's in there?
Yeah.
I
can hang with these guys if it's tough like it was out here. Like it will be at Shinnecock, like it will be at Birkdale in a couple months. Padraig is going to be around, and he loves talking to the media. He loves telling us what he thinks about the golf course. He is a gem that we need to hold on to and use him as long as he'll be interested in it.
He also won an important subset, which I believe he was low YouTube golfer. Unless I'm missing any, Jason Day was lower on the leaderboard. Bryson DeChambeau and Tommy Fleetwood, of course, both missed the cut. I'm sure there's someone else that I'm not thinking of, but as far as I can tell, looking at the big board, he's a low YouTube golfer.
My final winner is Cam Smith. This was proof of life for a guy who, entering the week, I was thinking he's going to run out of his major exemption pretty soon. He won in 2022. He's got the British Open for as long as he wants to play there, but he doesn't have all the other majors for as long as he wants to play. This was proof of life from Cam Smith. Finishes at 4 under, was really proud of himself. People had started to give up on this guy, and I think he is, living proof, walking proof that if you have summited the major mountaintop, you're very capable. The path to get there again, it will always exist. It'll probably feel a little clearer to you than it does to people who haven't summited it, like Ludwig, who keeps coming up just short. Some of those people, they haven't done it, and Cam Smith has done it. And this was a huge week for him.
I was thinking how fun it was to see Cam Smith's putting stroke hitting high pressure putts at a major championship. And also pair that with how electric it is to watch him hit tee shots, because my man does not know where it's going still off the tee. It seemed like he found a sweet spot where he was missing by enough that he was hitting it into some of those spectator paths, so then he would draw a decent lie. But no, absolutely shout out to Cam Smith. He was there. He could have won this golf tournament.
Absolutely.
Sean, any room for improvement? Any losers this week that you feel need addressing?
Yeah, this is going to be harsh, but a lot of those dudes who were in neutral on Sunday on the back nine, I really felt like this was a horse race, and everyone made the turn coming down the stretch in a very similar way, and it was Aaron Rai, the long shot, who took off when Rory McIlroy had a chance and Ludwig Åberg had a chance. Xander Schauffele absolutely had a chance. They were all stuck in neutral, and I think they're all going to be ruining whatever this event will feel like in a matter of months or even years. You know, Rory had a really weird, he shot 4 over in the first round and he called it shit. And he played great golf after that, but he was kind of peacocking. He said it's not a great setup. He said that it's nothing but driver off the tee everywhere. Like, he was critical of this whole thing. And then he kind of got punched in the mouth a little bit on Sunday, and that felt pretty cyclical for his week.
That is interesting. 4 over in the first round. Ended up losing by 5. But yeah, he shot, even par on the back 9. Xander Schauffele, I think, shot even par on the back 9. Justin Rose made 9 pars on the back 9. Chris Gotterup, also 9 pars on the back 9. So a couple of these guys where you kept kind of being like, okay, are they going to find something? Partly that was the setup of the golf course. It just wasn't yielding a lot late in the day. But yeah, and then specifically like Rory's, two majors even is not guaranteed that you're going to win the yearly Grand Slam, but it did feel like a pretty good chance for him to win the first and second majors of the year, which just hasn't happened in a decade. So you do have to pour out a little bit for that storyline, that excitement.
Can we call the PGA of America a winner?
A
governing body.
Despite the shuttle bus situation? Or
a governing body that introduced a new CEO this week that has been under fire for what its management has been, for the courses it has chosen for its tournaments, for how it handled Bethpage, for what Valhalla was like with Scotty Scheffler, and for taking last year's PGA to a PGA Tour event. This felt like it checked every box they wanted to check and didn't have anything that they didn't want.
Yeah.
So I'm adding them to the winners.
There was just that one little blip of like Friday afternoon people getting in like an extremely kind of nuanced golf specific conversation about the pins being hard, but not in a way that separated hard, but not unfair, but not separating players in a way that they liked. Like, other than that little blip, even Rory came back the next day and was like, yeah, I was frustrated. This is probably fun golf to watch. I just was kind of like saying what I felt after I played.
Felt like we were looking at art on a canvas that was pretty abstract, and everyone had different interpretations of what it was. And then one person in the room or two people in the room were like, God, that art doesn't work for me. And I was like, man, just like take a couple steps back, change your angle. It's actually probably all right.
Sean, leave us with one scene from your week. One little mental image of your time at Aronimink.
I think that scene came today as I was waiting for Justin Thomas to return. I basically saw all the other players leaving in spurts. And just like the number one player in the world, Scotty Scheffler, his personality is so much better than the former number one, Tiger Woods, who he constantly gets compared to. I mean, Scotty Scheffler walks out, goes back into the locker room, grabs, I believe, both of his Nike shoes, signs one of them, signs a hat, brings it out to the local police security that's been with him all week, has a lovely conversation with him, takes a photo with another security guard, and it's just like, the game is in such a good spot if that is your world number one. The guy who can't miss on the golf course in most cases also can't miss when he's interfacing with the other people, particularly the locals in this sense, who won't see PGA Tour players for a few more years. I was just struck that that is such a good thing for the game.
And a good thing for the PGA, and a good thing that the world is healing Scotty Scheffler and law enforcement at the PGA seem to be on the up. All right, Mr. Sean Zak, you've got a column to finish, as do I. Thanks for coming back on the Drop Zone. Feels good to get the boys back together.
Cheers.